Alrighty guys, so I just did Money Game Part 2. That's going to be uploaded soon, definitely worth checking out, but we're here for Money Game Part 3. Here we go. It's a gentleman from the first video, without the eye holes, without the eyeballs drawn on him. Ooh, this is gonna be a funky one. Also, in high REN, when he said, I am the something when you, talking about hope when you loosen the noose on the rope, I wonder if he's referring, you guys let me know, but it seems like he could be referring to these nooses around their neck. He's got a red tie on. That has significance in the U.S. at least. I don't know about the U.K. or Australia. But. It's REN. Hi, REN.
Tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses inside.
I don't know if you guys know this, but 150 IQ is up there. All right, let's keep going.
Cybersecurity protocols. 17 and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18 and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down.
It's interesting how he's going through the a lot of typical things that you hear people say to their kids. Obviously, he's doing a gross summarization of it, but he's kind of going through like the societal upbringing in industrious capitalistic societies, and it seems as though he's kind of reflecting on how that's kind of helped form and shape this child's progression. So let's keep going here. This is interesting because I've got a 5-year-old girl. I keep family off of the channel, but this is interesting for me to listen to. Let's go.
Deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystalline.
That's a big one, guys. That's a big one. Let's keep going.
Cocaine, 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race, you're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it, blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket.
Wow. I will say that's one hell of a career shift from programming tech stuff to politics to arms to cocaine and presumably arms still. Yeah, that's definitely a big career shift. But let's keep going, guys.
35, he gets a call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed up, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry.
I hope you guys know what those drug references are. Let's go.
A silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
Man, I am always impressed with the choreography of REN's videos. It's one thing to write the lyrics, it's another thing to write the instruments, and then not to just do those two things, but also perform it in the way that he does. I definitely notice it, and I find entertainment in it, for sure. The timing of him falling in the chair is what made me say that, so... Just like, nice. Well done. Big up, mate.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me, and it's a version of him. And
hey, so I kind of saw where he was going with this. I know it's about to get interesting just based on the musical elements and the video elements, but yeah, so he's saying that Jimmy's stories is essentially an exaggerated version of a lot of people's stories where money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you peace of mind. I could do a lot of reactions to a lot of hip hop I've heard and fake those reactions and get a lot of subs really fast to the point where I probably wouldn't need to work an hourly job. At the end of the day, I still got to look at myself in the mirror. I still have to know that I have some integrity. So he's saying that the pure pursuit of money, the purely say what you want about capitalism, but if you view things from a 100% pure capitalistic perspective, people's emotions, well-being, they get thrown to the wayside in a purely capitalistic pursuit. Now, I like making money. I don't think there is nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with providing for your people. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I want to make money. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to F people over, completely screw them over in order to make money, because I know in the end of the day, I don't want to end up like Jimmy with a bunch of things, and I've just got this list of bodies of people that I've screwed over and left by the wayside. Anyway, he talks about so much in such a little time, but I'll save a little bit of it for the end, and we'll just keep going through it here, guys.
It's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck for money and fame. Call the music.
Uh-oh.
This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth.
I'm sorry, guys, but exactly what he's saying. I mean, if you put the pursuit of money above people, community declines. He talks in Money Game Part 2 about narcissism, just kind of spreading throughout. And I think social media and technology has exacerbated that. I can't honestly say that capitalism is the sole cause for it. Now, I get that. I get that you could say, well, you're a hypocrite because how did social media and iPhones come about? Capitalism. Okay, whatever, fine. But ultimately, yeah, he's talking about community and people caring about your neighbor, talking to your neighbor, just basic human decency being thrown to the wayside by the pursuit of money. So let's keep going, guys.
Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution?
Oh no, man. He's got a gun with bullets. And I can tell the story is you guys said to pay attention to the line, turning a child into a killer in the first Money Game. I'm sorry, guys. And we're seeing it come full circle now. Let's go.
Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd, if there's more money for me, then there's...
I'm just going to pause it. I know this has been a thing in the comments, but look. I've met people who come out of a 4-year university with a degree in the workforce. I meet them and I talk to them, and their ability to critically think, as opposed to somebody who has been in the workforce for a year fresh out of high school, is severely diminished. And not only that, but I am genuinely concerned with the amount of lack of critical thinking that comes out of long-term schooling. That's not to say if you have a degree, I'm not saying don't get a degree. I'm not saying don't go to education, but I am saying I think there needs to be far more of an emphasis placed on critical thought. And I mean, my experience, I did a semester of college, and it could have just been that isolated state university that it was just the way it was. But my experience was it wasn't about fostering critical thought and Socratic discussion. It was more about, hey, just learn these things, memorize them. It was memorization over thought. And that was my main problem with my schooling. But let's keep going here.
Before the herd, if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface, then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. 45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same.
Yeah.
Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Wow. Wow. That came full circle. So in part 2, I said something about the finger on the trigger of a money game. I was thinking it was referring to, inflicting harm against other people. And he's saying this comes full circle to harm yourself. And I mean, this rings so true for me. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to grow and you have ambition, there's nothing wrong with that. What I will say is if you're willing to screw over people you love, people you care about, friends, not even just that. It's not about your friend circle. It's if you're willing to screw over the average person in order to put numbers in your bank account, think about the longevity of it. Think about how will you be remembered as a human being. Once again, there's nothing wrong with having an entrepreneurial spirit and wanting to make money and wanting to succeed. I'd like to think if I work hard enough, I would have something to show for it because I would like my hard work to pay off. That seems like common sense to me. But once again, yeah, I mean, it came full circle in the line about turning a child into a killer. He wasn't even talking about killing others, although he apparently, Jimmy apparently did that throughout his career. But he was ultimately saying this inflicts harm upon yourself. And you look at some of these like highly functioning CEOs who are super entrepreneurial and pure capitalists. And not all of them, but some of them do have relationship turmoil, family turmoil, like the people in their life. There's a revolving door. That's just my perception of it. But once again, I mean, the pursuit of material things over... I'm not saying if you're doing something entrepreneurial, don't advocate for yourself either. Because I've done work for people where like I in the middle of doing it, I'm like, okay, I screwed myself with the quote I gave them, but I still finished the quote. I didn't like change the price on them. I didn't throw them for a loop and say, hey, I finished halfway. Now, if you want me to finish your product, you got to give me more. Like, no, I held true to it because I was like, well, at the end of the day, like, I hold myself responsible for what I told them. So, yeah, I mean, so many things to get into here. But the most important lesson, guys, is don't mess with the cartel, right? Those people do not mess around. I hope you guys know I'm joking. Well, seriously, don't mess with them, but it is a joke. Yeah, very interesting. I think I could probably talk about this for days and days, but I'm going to cut the video off. If you guys liked it, definitely watch my Money Game 2 reaction. I go into a little more depth with talking there, but if you guys liked it, like, subscribe, comment, and please recommend. I have like a billion REN recommendations, so I hear them. I've got them all written down. I know which ones I need to do, but either way, thank you guys for watching. Take care.